Hyundai has just knocked off Tesla when it comes to maximum range in a sedan. Today we have a lot of news we're going to talk about, but mainly compare the Model 3 to the upcoming Ioniq 6. I will be driving Hyundai's Ioniq 6, in about a month from now. So definitely stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed, not only to this channel, but my main channel as well. And we also want to talk about the EV tax credit today because it's finally getting a revision to make things make more sense for the customer, most importantly, make more vehicles qualify for the tax credit. Hyundai Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive achieves EPA assisted driving range of 361 miles. So here's all the trim levels, and depending on the wheel size as well, that's going to affect massively the efficiency as well as the range. So I put it all in the spreadsheet. We'll compare that in a second, but check out what Ioniq has just done here. With this Ioniq 6 sedan, it is rated at 140 miles per gallon E, which I'm not a big fan of that rating. I think they should just go to miles per kilowatt hour. Makes a lot more sense to me that way. 33.7 kilowatts equals 1 gallon of gasoline when it comes to energy. It doesn't mean 1 gallon of gasoline costs 33.7 kilowatts of energy to charge your battery. If you're following me, hopefully I'm making sense. Needless to say, the new Ioniq 6 is as efficient as the Lucid Air. They're able to get the same miles per kilowatt as that vehicle. Now, the Tesla Model 3 is now behind. It is now in third place behind the rear-wheel drive long-range Ioniq 6. And that's just based off of EPA estimates. If we go over to Edmunds test, Edmunds and all of their testing that they do with EVs, to date, every Tesla they've ran on the real world test has failed to hit the EPA range estimates. So yes, and this isn't the first time we've heard this. A lot of Tesla owners will say that they don't get the advertised range. Well, let's get to the spreadsheet here. I broke down the different variations of the Ioniq 6, the Ioniq 6 all-wheel drive, the Model 3 standard range rear-wheel drive, and the Model 3 performance. I don't have the Model 3 long-range dual motor in here because if I go to Tesla, I don't want to put this in this list because the car's not even available right now. I can't click Model 3 long range. It just says available in 2023. I still think the Model 3 performance is a smoking deal now that you get the tax credit for the amount of power and acceleration you get is just stupid. And then the Model 3 standard range here is the only other Model 3 available for purchase. Now, they are going to qualify for the tax credit. Make sure to stay after we discuss these models because we will talk about the revision to the EV tax credits. Okay, so here's the new king on the block, tying the Lucid Air for efficiency. It's not going to be as quick as the base Tesla. It's about a second slower to 60, but it's still going to have that instant torque and power. So if you need to pass someone, you're not waiting around. You still have that urgency and surprising amount of acceleration here, even though it's not the fastest car. Now, where the Ioniq succeeds here is that it actually beats the Model 3 in aerodynamics. So it's a lower coefficient of drag. It's just behind the Lucid Air. Lucid Air has like a 0.21, and I think the EQS for Mercedes-Benz is around there as well. So Hyundai designing a super slippery vehicle here. And with the 18-inch wheels, it gets 361 miles of EPA range. But remember I talked about Edmunds test. So Edmunds does an EV test here. And I'll scroll up so you can see what's going on here. So on their EV test, they prefer to test more city range than highway range. They do about 60% city range and 40% highway range of their testing. Compared to the EPA estimate where they test 55% highway and 45% city. And also they do all their testing over in California where the weather is great. All these ranges will plummet when temperatures start dropping. The colder it is, the worse your range will struggle. So let's go back to the spreadsheet here. We don't know exactly how Edmunds is going to come up with the miles on this for their more city-based focus, but I estimated based off their other Ioniq 5 vehicle that they were getting about 5% more range based off the EPA. So I added about 5% on the Edmunds miles test here. And starting price is, we don't know. The Ioniq 5 starts around $46,000. So I'd expect the Ioniq 6 with the same sort of technology, motors, battery, etc., starting around 46 as well. Now, as we get down to the tax credit, this is a sad thing because all of a sudden Hyundais are no longer eligible for the EV tax credit, and Teslas out of nowhere are eligible for the EV tax credit under the new rules. So that is like a 14 grand flip in the favor of Tesla, or you could say 15,000, right? $7,500 each way. That's absolutely insane. So anyways, let's look at the Ioniq 6 all-wheel drive, 320 horsepower compared to the Model 3 Performance at 455 horsepower. The acceleration here is way in Tesla's favor. The battery here is smaller on the Hyundai, so it is able to get better efficiency here. Now, 316 miles of range, which ties the Model 3 Performance. Remember, I don't have the Model 3 long range dual motor on here because it's not available on the website right now. Now, Edmunds might be able to get even more range out of the Ioniq 6 dual motor compared to the Model 3. The Model 3's range went down significantly on the Performance model, as well as on the Model 3 standard range. So that's significant, the amount of drop from 315 from the EPA to 256. And there are tangibles here that aren't mentioned, like Tesla's supercharging network or Hyundai's super fast 800 volt charging system, but good luck finding a charger that actually charges that fast. You also have Hyundai's dealer network, which I would say is a benefit in some instances and a hindrance in others. If you guys know, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then Tesla, a totally different way of doing business. All right, it just depends on what you guys want there. Also, Hyundai's interiors, I would take every single time over a Tesla, as well as the exterior. I think the Ioniq 6 looks unique and edgy and maybe a little bit J30 from Infinity from the rear, but you know, it is cool looking and I like it better actually than the Ioniq 5 design, but that's just personal preference. Tesla is at this point, it's a dime a dozen. It just looks like an iPhone on wheels to me. Everyone's got one and they don't look different. All right. It's just the most common reoccurring thing in nature at this point. They're pigeons. The Model 3 has become the Model Y, have become pigeons. So let me know where you would be spending your hard-earned cash for these electric sedans. The tax credit, though, is just going to be absolutely insane, benefiting Tesla for a while now. So the Treasury has just modified vehicle classifications and EV tax credit after industry pushback. The department said it'll now use EPA fuel economy label to determine whether a vehicle is a sedan, SUV, pickup, or van, instead of using the EPA CAFE standard ratings. So that is a massive win for many manufacturers, including Tesla, because some of the Model Ys, the two-row Model Ys, were not qualifying as an SUV. As well as the Cadillac Lyriq, for example, was not qualifying for an SUV. And it started over $60,000 now. So it wouldn't qualify for the EV tax credit if it was limited to $55,000 because that's what the sedan rating is listed at. I don't agree with the ratings here, $55,000. And the more I think about it, it's just like, hey, we're crediting people making a lot of money here to buy brand new $50,000 to $80,000 vehicles. But the mineral components is still on hiatus. The government is not going to decide until March about the mineral components. So from now until March, the Teslas will qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit. And then after that, it's going to get tricky because depending on where the minerals and battery components are sourced from, they might not qualify for the full tax credit. So this is an evolving thing. The goalposts keep moving. I think it's ridiculous, but it gives me a ton to talk about on this channel, Kirky Cars, where I talk about electrified vehicles. So make sure you're subscribed. Stay tuned for more updates. It's been a while since I posted on my second channel, largely because I've been out of town. I was in California for the better part of a week, seeing the CX-90 for the first time. That was great, as well as driving the all-new Honda Accord. I can't talk about my driving impressions until February 7th, but that's coming pretty soon. And check out that channel, my main channel, if you want to see all my hands-on coverage of the CX-90 as well as the new Accord. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.